Mums with Hustle podcast, episode 524.
Welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast, where you'll discover everyday mum entrepreneurs killing it in their industry. Learn the secrets you can replicate to create your own success with your host, Tracy Harris.
Hello there, beautiful friend, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to begin with something that I live by and have lived by for, definitely over a decade. And over the last 5 years, I would say with even greater intention. And that is my FRESH framework. FRESH stands for fitness, relationships, environment, self, and hustle. And I believe that it is a really simple way for us as women in business to check in the different areas of our lives, the areas that impact our energy, it impacts our confidence, our mindset, and the way that we lead in our businesses. Because I truly believe this, building a freedom-filled business and living a freedom-filled life is not just about strategy. It's just one part. That's the hustle component. But it is also about the rest of what makes us a person. This is a very holistic view of growing a business and a life that you love. It is also about how you feel in your body. It is also about your energy. Everything is energy. So it is about really optimizing yours. It is also about your strength. And when I say strength, I'm speaking about your physical strength, your mental toughness, your emotional strength, your spiritual strength and faith, not just in easy times, but in hard times too. And today we're talking about strength in a way that I think every woman needs to hear. It's not the let's get ripped, let's get shredded, let's look hot kind of strength, although you will begin to change the shape of your body, and I don't think you're going to be mad about it. It's the kind of strength that makes you feel capable. It makes you feel steady. It makes you feel unstoppable, grounded, powerful, and safe inside of your own body to play life full out. Because when you feel strong in your body, everything changes with your outlook as well. You're going to show up differently. You're going to carry yourself differently, make decisions differently. You're going to tolerate less BS. You're going to trust yourself more, and you're going to lead yourself in your life from a higher place. So today I'm on the mic and I am sharing realistic strength benchmark targets for women aged 35 to 40. To give you a simple baseline understanding of where you're at and what you might want to build from here. So before we start, quick little disclaimer, and I want to say this clearly, what I'm going to share in this episode are general benchmarks. They're not medical standards. Things like your height, your body weight, your training history, injuries, pregnancies, births, hormones, sleep, your stress levels, all of that can influence what's realistic and what is strong for you. I'm just going to take a second to share something so real with you. Last week, I had a few unusual stresses come up in the business, and I believe that had an effect on my physical strength, because when I went out to do my regular workout like I always do, I was finding my medium weights to actually feel like they were my max weights, and they were not. And these were not on new movements. These are on movements that I have conditioned myself to lift like quite decently for me, okay? Because we're all running our own race. But that day when I picked up those weights, they just felt so much heavier. And I had those feelings in the first 30 seconds to 5 minutes, and then the feelings could persisted even, after 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, this was only a 30-minute weight session that I was doing. Again, all movements I'm familiar with, but I had that feeling of, oh my gosh, I can't do this today, or gosh, this is so heavy. Like, this is insanely heavy. Why does this feel so heavy today? And I believe with my 20 plus years of experience in working out, in having personal trainers, in studying fitness, in being a brand ambassador for certain well-known fitness label, I've done a lot over the past 20 years. I'm someone that takes my best radical responsibility for my health in terms of how I've educated myself, the people I've learned from, my doctors, health care, all of that. And I just know the only thing that was different on that day was the mental stresses happening in my week. And they weren't even huge, or at least if you asked me, I probably wouldn't even mention them as something that was going on, but it was different from normal. And add to that the return to business after having like a month off, I would not be surprised if my strength decreased as a result of what was going on in my head and in my body energetically. So I want to share that with you also. But instead of not working out on that day, and I know some people would say, oh, this is where you just need to honor your body, listen to your body. No, movement is really good for your body. So I'm really proud that I showed up because that was an example of a day where it's discipline over motivation. And I didn't push myself by going to my max weights. I stuck with those medium ones because on that day, that felt insanely difficult and the workout did not get easier as I went on. But I'm really proud that I did that because exercise, we're not going to get into this in this episode, but exercise also releases so many incredible hormones in our bodies that help us feel really good. So I knew that, and the movement can actually serve as medicine. But anyway, just know pregnancies, births, sleep, stress levels, hormones, all of that can influence what is realistic and what is strong for you on any given day. So as women, as we move through the month, if you have a monthly cycle, you might notice that you feel different at different times of the month as well. And so it's about knowing this and then knowing how to adjust accordingly. But that's starting to get a little bit more advanced. I wanted to keep this episode simple. Okay. I also want you to know that this is not if you can do these things, you pass, therefore you're awesome. Or if you can't do these things, you've failed and you suck. It's not about this. This is not a pass or fail mentality. What I'm sharing is just information, and I believe that information gives us power because once you know something, okay, you can't unknow it, and now we get to take radical responsibility for it, and that becomes our task. So, of course, I think it goes without saying that you always need to check with your doctor or your physio, even if you've had injuries or babies recently, or even if you just need to feel really confident that you have got a solid foundation for your health before you attempt doing any of these things. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, Tracy, I really do want to feel stronger in 2026, but I don't even know where to start, then this episode is for you because strength is not just an aesthetic goal. Strength is carrying the groceries in without hurting your back. Strength is lifting up your kids without the fear of pulling something. Strength is walking upstairs without feeling puffed. It's feeling stable in your core and energized when you're out playing in the surf. It's having better posture. It's protecting your joints. It's building bone density as we move through our 30s and our 40s because that impacts our quality of life and our ability to avoid injury and also heal well as we age. It's feeling confident in our bodies again. It's feeling mentally stronger too, because there is a proven mind-muscle connection. And honestly, strength is one of the most underrated forms of self-respect. I see someone out in the world, okay, and if I can tell that they intentionally work on their strength because of their muscle mass, I just know so much about that person's attitude, commitment, and psychology, because we don't just get strong and we don't just build definition in our bodies overnight. A lot goes into that in terms of our training and even more so in terms of our nutrition. So I just like mad respect to those people. It is about saying, I'm here for myself, I matter, and I am taking care of myself. So before we get into the benchmarks, I want you just to reflect on this for a moment. When was the last time you felt genuinely strong in your body? Not just a, damn, I look so good, but an I feel capable. I feel strong. I feel strong in my posture. I feel strong in my core. My glutes feel strong. And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. This episode is an invitation. It's your starting point. Because now I'm going to walk you through these in a really simple way. Write this down on a piece of paper. It is the realistic strength benchmarks for women ages 35 to 40-ish in this episode, okay? Now, I am going to be 42 this year, and I'm still working with these benchmarks, okay? Now, these are all things that you can test at home or in a gym, and possibly even on the playground. If there's a set of monkey bars there or something, like, you're going to be able to do it there too. You really don't need equipment to be doing these things. And you also don't need to do all of this in one day. If this feels too much, please do this over a few days, okay? But keep your score and write the date so that you can track your progress as well. So the baseline targets for the 35 to 40-year-old woman is that you can do 8 to 12 full push-ups on your toes. Now, if you don't know what that means or what any of the things are that I'm about to explain, YouTube is a great place for you. Make sure that you are, or TikTok or Instagram Reels, but make sure that you are getting a great demonstration of what these movements look like when done well and when done safely, because that matters as well. Okay, we've all seen people smashing out push-ups before and they're not doing them properly. Their arms are like chicken wings. They're not going down deep enough. You know, their butt's in the air. Like, it's not about how many can you do. It's about, can you do them well? Can you do them properly? All right. And then that counts as one. So it's 8 to 12 push-ups. The next thing, write this down, is 30 bodyweight squats. The next one is a plank hold for 60 seconds. Plank hold, 60 seconds. The next one is a dead hang for 20 to 30 seconds. The next one is goblet squat, and that is 10 reps with 12 to 16 kilos. So I guess if you have to hold on to a child, you could do that, but otherwise a dumbbell or a kettlebell, if you are doing this at the gym, see if you can do 10 reps with 12 to 16 kilos. The next one is a dumbbell RDL. Okay, you may need to, again, go on YouTube and get an example of these moves. But it's 10 reps of those dumbbell RDLs with two 12.5 kilo dumbbells. So holding a 12.5 kilo dumbbell in each hand, can you do 10 reps of an RDL? The next one is the inverted row for 8 to 10 reps. Okay, now I'm going to explain each one briefly and why it matters. And again, if you can set aside some time, instead of doing a mindless scroll later on in the day, why don't you look up examples of what each of these movements are, okay? So the first one is push-ups, and this is for upper body strength and for your core. Push-ups are honestly the most simple, most powerful test of your upper body and core strength, and you don't even need any equipment. Now, push-ups are hard. They are difficult, especially for women who haven't trained them specifically. So if you can't even do one, that is okay. That's where you're at today. I want you to hear this. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you haven't built it yet. So I know that when it comes to push-ups, 8 to 12 on your toes is the benchmark. But if this is not you yet, you can start with incline push-ups. So that's where you might put your hands on your kitchen bench, or you might get a chair and you can put your hands on the chair, or you might simply put your hands up against a wall, and then you're going to do that push-up movement from there. And this is just about the foundations, it's the foundations of fitness, because there are huge parallels between fitness and life and business. We don't want to skip the foundations when it comes to fitness, just like we don't want to skip the foundations when it comes to business, and then wondering why things are taking longer or wondering why things feel really difficult. Master the basics. Take the time to master the basics. You'll be so much better for it. Okay, the second one was the bodyweight squat. This is about leg strength and it's about mobility as well. And it matters because your legs are your powerhouse. The goal isn't to just squat, it's to squat with control. So as you're watching these tutorials online, pay attention to the control. It's not about speed. It actually burns more when you do it slowly. So it's about control. It's about good posture. It's about stability. It's about making sure that those knees aren't wanting to come inwards, but those knees are keeping pointed out. And you want to try to be able to do about 30 of these. Now, if you're saying, Tracy, I can do that easily, amazing. But I want to ask you, are you doing them with full range? And are you doing them with full control? And if you're doing 10 and you're struggling, that's also okay. It's not about proving anything. It's about learning where your strength is at today. And that's going to help give you a clear path forward. All right, the third movement was the plank hold for 60 seconds. So this one is about your deep core strength and your ability to stabilize your body. It's not just to get abs. Your core is also about protecting your back. It's about protecting your posture. It's about your pelvis and your hips and your spine. So I will say this, a 60-second plank done with correct form is not easy. The goal is to have a nice straight line through your whole body, no sagging in at the hips, no butt in the air, no putting strain in the shoulders or a hunch up in the shoulders. If you can hold it for 20 seconds, start there and be so proud. Your strength is going to build fast when you're consistent. So even if you did this every single day and timed yourself, you are going to see that strength increase. And it's so fun to see yourself improving. All right, number 4 is the dead hang. This is about grip strength and shoulder health. And it's such a powerful one because your grip strength is linked to full body strength. And hanging teaches your shoulders to stabilize and also decompress. And this is one that maybe if you're not At the gym, you can take yourself to the playground and you can just use the monkey bars or the pull-up bars that they have there. But it is about, like, a true dead hang means that your feet can't be on the ground. So you kind of want to have your legs dangling down. You can't touch the ground. You're gripping onto the bar with your palms facing away from you, and you're just hanging there at arms full extension, shoulders all the way down your back into a true dead hang. And this is the best position to do a proper pull-up or chin-up from as well. Not from a bench, not from feet on the ground. Like, this is the hardest. This is a major test of strength. And again, you will be amazed what practicing this does over time. If you find that you can't do this, like not even for a second or a couple of seconds, then start with your feet supported lightly. Maybe you do start with a chair underneath your feet and you step off, or maybe you do start with your feet on the ground and then you just hold yourself up or bend your knees, because a dead hang is seriously difficult, but you want to be able to get there for that 20 to 30 seconds. Okay. The next one is the goblet squat. It's about your legs, it's about your core, and it's about bracing, because it's where you're holding a dumbbell or a kettlebell at your chest with two hands, and then you're squatting with it. So this is a movement that you will just feel in your whole body. Like, you're going to feel it in your arms, you're going to feel it in your shoulders, you're going to feel it in your core, you're going to feel it in the lower part of your body, okay? And you want to try to do 10 of these with good form, good range at 12 to 16 kilos. This is your solid baseline. And if it sounds heavy, let me say you are stronger than you think. You are stronger than you think, because your legs and your butt are the largest muscle group, okay? And so you can do this. You can lift more than you think. And if you're already doing 20 kilos, I love that for you, babe. That's amazing. You are building a powerful base. But if you're feeling like you're not strong, okay, you get to rewrite that story here. Okay, continuing on. The next one is the Dumbbell RDL. And the focus of this is on strengthening your glutes, your hamstrings, and your posterior chain. So that's like your entire back. And this one is one of the most important movement patterns that you can really master, because it protects your back. It teaches you how to hinge properly. It strengthens your glutes and your hamstrings. And let's be real, this is the movement that you are doing every single time you go to pick something up. So this isn't about a gym movement. This is a movement that we're doing in our everyday life, and it's a movement that we want to be able to continue doing in our everyday life. Whether we're moving things around the house or we're out in the garden, we're bending over to pick up a suitcase or anything like that. This movement is key. And the benchmark is to be able to do 10 of these with two 12.5 kilo dumbbells. Now, that is a solid, strong place to be aiming for. And maybe you want to start with two 5 kilo dumbbells, again, holding a dumbbell in each hand. If you need to start with less than that, or if you need to start holding nothing at all and just perfecting the movement, that's where you start. Start there. All right. Number 7 is the inverted row. This is about back strength and posture, and it is incredible. It balances out all of the pushing that we do in life, like driving, holding kids, being at a laptop, being on our phones. So it's really going to support us with our movement in that area, okay? So the benchmark is 8 to 10 of these. And if you're at the gym, there is a machine called the Smith machine. You can do it on there. You can also use TRX bands. So this is they're kind of like bands that hang from an anchor point on the ceiling or, you know, on a bar, or even rings. Anyway, you can hold on to these. The aim is that it's nice and taut and sturdy. It's a really sturdy setup, okay? And if you are walking into the gym for a first time in a long time or the first time ever, don't be afraid to go and ask the staff to show you where the Smith machine is, or to ask if they've got TRX and could they set it up for you, or show you where the rings are. But again, log on to YouTube, watch some content and see how to do these movements, or go to a gym and have a trainer show you how to do these things with the correct setup, but also the correct movement. Okay, so when you are set up correctly, you will know instantly how your pulling strength is. And I just want you to know that strengthening your back is really symbolic also of like, where else do you need support in your life? Where aren't you inviting it in? It is literal, it's emotional, it's physical. So I always say how you speak to yourself in the gym, or what you're avoiding in the gym, is what you're avoiding in life. And, you know, we're at the gym not just to build our physical strength, but to build our emotional and our mental toughness as well. So you have got this. And I think that's what the back exercises are all about, okay? Telling yourself you've got this. So they're all the benchmarks, okay? We've gone through them, and hopefully you've written all of those down. Feel free to rewind and listen to all of that again. But how to use these benchmarks without getting so in your head, I want to talk about that for a moment, because they're not here to make you feel behind. Like I said at the beginning, it's not about passing and failing. It's here to give you clarity, and then that clarity acts as an invitation to your next step. That's all that it is. And of course, the next step is entirely up to you if you take it or not. Because when we feel uncertain, we can spiral. Or when we feel overwhelmed, we can tend to do nothing and just kind of turn a blind eye to it. But when we have a number, like what you're going to get from doing these benchmark assessments, you can set a goal. You can now have a target. You can now begin to move with purpose and intention. You can start to have a why, and we can get calm. And I remember I had a wonderful opportunity to go and hear Dr. Tony Attwood speak when I was still a teacher at school, and I was specializing in neurodivergence. And he said, being calm is being smart. And that was a simple way that he would teach the importance of a calm nervous system and not reacting to things to his students with autism or with neurodivergence. And really, I just thought that was brilliant, because I thought that helps all of us. When we are calm, we're able to get focused. When we are calm, we're able to make smart decisions. When we are calm, we're able to be empowered. So that is what we create. We create calm for ourselves when we have clarity over where we are and what we're working towards. And that just makes everything else fall into place faster. So here's how I recommend, and again, it's just a recommendation. You can do what you like, but there are quite a lot of exercises to do there, and to do them all in one go, depending on your level of strength and physicality, it is not necessarily a smart thing to do it all in one, okay? So maybe you're going to pick 3, maybe 4 of these to test this week. And so for you, you might be like, okay, I'm going to do the goblet squat, I'm going to do the plank, I'm going to do the push-up, and I'm going to do the dead hang. And maybe you're going to do them each on a separate day. Maybe you're going to do 2 in one day, 2 in another day. I don't know. It's up to you. Maybe you can do all 4 in one day. But I want you to write down what the movement is and what your current starting point is, and then write down the date. And then I want you to choose 1 to 2 areas where you wish to improve. This isn't about being perfect. It's not about working on all of the things equally, but choose 1 to 2 areas that you want to improve and train those movements 2 to 3 times a week. And then maybe retest in 4 to say 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a really good time to retest. So if you're going to choose the push-ups on your toes, for instance, but remember, let's pretend that you can't quite get to that yet. So you're going to be doing incline push-ups using the kitchen bench as your support and the rest of your body in a straight line. Okay, so you're going to be doing those push-ups and you're going to do 8 to 10 of those. And maybe you're going to try to do a few sets of those on that day until you get to failure. Now, failure just means that you can't do one more. You cannot go one more. It is exhausting. It's not just oh my gosh, this is hard now, or I feel uncomfortable, or I'm shaking. It's I actually can't do one more. That's what failure is. So if you're going to do the incline push-ups, maybe you're going to do, let's just say 8 of them. And then you're going to have a nice big rest, like 2 minutes is great. Have a 2-minute rest. And then you're going to go again. Maybe you can't get to 8. Maybe you just get to 3 more and then you're at absolute failure. You're going to stop there. And you can write that down. Okay. Or maybe you clear that easily and maybe you're like, okay, I think I can do this on a chair. And so you move to doing it on a chair. And then maybe next time you're like, okay, I'm going to try to do this on my toes. Maybe you do 1 or 2 on the toes. So week by week, you're improving and you're working on that. After 6 weeks, take the test again and see how many you can actually do on your toes. Maybe you're going to bust out a few and you're going to be able to say, wow, 6 weeks ago, I couldn't do 1 on my toes. I was barely making 8 incline on the kitchen bench. So it's incredibly exciting. And if you do manage to hit all of these benchmarks, then congratulations. It's so good to know that. And maybe you want to stretch yourself to start working towards increasing your strength beyond that. If you find out that you're below the benchmark, just know that you're not broken. You're at the beginning of your next level. Choose to bring excitement to that fact. Beginnings are holy. Beginnings are powerful. This is you stepping into a new identity, not the woman who says, oh, I should probably do something, but the woman who says, I am choosing to be the woman who gets strong. So I want to bring all of this back into my fresh framework for just a moment, because fitness is not separate from your business. And through this episode, you've heard me just a few times like tie this into how you think about yourself in your business, how you think about life, how you make decisions. How tall are you able to stand in the face of challenges? When your body feels strong, your nervous system becomes more stable. You become more calm. And when we're calm, we make smart decisions. We're able to lead more effectively. We're going to increase our capacity for courage, increase our capacity for risk, increase our capacity for things that are not easy or natural for us yet. We build capacity and tolerance for challenge. We become more present. We become more confident. We access more power to create. More potential energy is just unlocked. Therefore, more things become possible for you. Strength changes the way you walk into a room. It changes you on an energetic level. Other people can perceive and feel your energy. As humans, we have the higher mental faculty of intuition, which means that we can pick up on the frequency and vibes and moods and confidence levels of others. So when you work on improving your confidence levels, through becoming physically strong and fit and the mental toughness and all the other beautiful qualities that come along with that, it's going to affect your energy, your energetic charge. And that is something that other people can pick up on when you walk into the room. You know that saying, your energy precedes you. That's what we're talking about here, as well as the obvious physical longevity and quality of life benefits that come from working on your strength. Because now you're going to stop operating from depletion and you're going to start operating from leadership. So before I wrap up, I want you to sit with these few questions. Number one, what would change in my life if I truly felt strong in my body again? Number two, where am I underestimating what I'm capable of? Number three, what's one small strength habit I can commit to over the next 30 days? So this is a minimum. It's a minimum strength habit because you're going to commit to it. You're going to do this. If you make it too difficult, if you stretch and you create it as like a maximum standard for yourself every day, you're not going to hit that maximum standard every day. So make it be a minimum. Like at a minimum, you're going to do what? 8 push-ups using the kitchen bench. And you're going to do that every single day for 30 days. Can you keep that promise to yourself? I know you can. And number 4, what does strong mean to me now at this stage of my life? What does it mean? Because the story that you attach, the meaning you assign to anything in life and in business is what creates your experience or your reality of that thing. It creates a relationship between you and that thing, and that creates the outcome. So if you don't have a very healthy relationship with the word strong, or you haven't created a healthy definition or assigned a meaning that is in service of your highest good, you're not going to really do that. You're going to see it as scary or dangerous or whatever other negative meaning you could assign to it. So just ask yourself, what does strong mean to me now? Because maybe in the past, it wasn't safe for you. Maybe there was some injury. Maybe you weren't informed. What does it mean to you now at this stage of your life? Remember, if you're like me and you're in your early 40s, strength to me now means something completely different to when I was training and when I was in my 20s. So those questions are really important to reflect on. If you love this episode, I would love for you to take a screenshot right now and share it to your Instagram stories. Tag me at Tracy Harris Co. because I love seeing what episodes make a difference to your day and in your life. And if you want to take action, start doing those benchmarks. Choose one to try today. And don't forget to count, write down the reps, write down the date, and come back in 4 to 6 weeks and see how you go. I am cheering you on. Strength is built one decision at a time. I'll see you in the next episode.